In another court case, the bribery and corruption trial of Justice Rita Ofili-Ajumogobia and lawyer Gordon Obla at the Lagos High Court sitting in Ikeja was almost stalled today after the defense counsel, Mobolaji Kuti, stated that the application filed on January 9, 2017, asking the prosecution to produce additional evidence has not been met. But the prosecution argued that the additional proof of evidence has been served on the defense, therefore the trial can go on. The first prosecution witness, Ademola Oshodi, again detailed in court how monies were debited and credited from a corporate account belonging to Nigel and Colive, in which Justice Ofili-Ajumogobia is signatory. Mr. Oshodi stated that from May 2014, millions of naira were moved into the corporate account by the accused persons on different occasions. The presiding judge, Justice Hakeem Oshodi, adjourned the case till March 10th for cross-examination and ordered a temporary release of Mr. Obla's international passport, which must be returned by March 6th. The crisis in the Ondo State House of Assembly is deepening as the Assembly complex has been shut down by security operatives to prevent a breakdown of law and order. And this follows a tussle between two factions of the lawmakers over leadership of the House after suspension of the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and the Majority Leader on Friday last week. At resumption of plenary today, the new leadership insisted the former leadership, led by Mrs. Jumoke Akindele, remained suspended over the 15 million naira found in the House paymaster in the Assembly complex, which Mrs. Akindele insists she had nothing to do with.
Perhaps they were not fully aware trouble will brew on a large scale when they moved to remove Mrs. Jumoke Akindele as the Speaker of the Ondo State House of Assembly. The Speaker is accused of a 15 million naira fraud. The paymaster of the House of Assembly was said to have been in possession of the said sum in the premises of the House. He was said to be acting on the instructions of the leadership of the House. The windstorm in the matter was gathering on Friday, the last working day of last week, and by Monday morning, the tension has reached a boiling point. The two factions are said to have clashed, and so security operatives weighed in, and the Assembly is shut to any legislative activities.
We moved in to avert any situation that would lead to breakdown of law and order.
With the Harlow chamber shut, the lawmakers are still at loggerheads over the fraud allegations.
15 million naira was approved. There are questions we asked them. Was there any parliamentary resolution before the approval? And the former spokesman of the House, who said the money was meant for project, and we now ask them questions. Is the money withdrawn from the project account of the House of Assembly or from the running grants? From the check that is on social media, go and look at it properly where it is written clearly, running grant account. I wonder why money meant for project will be paid into running grant accounts.
The plans to remove Mrs. Akindele as Speaker 2 appears to be a major high point of the political impasse.
20 members have signed this impeachment notice. Some members were influenced and went back to the other side and they were claiming not to be part of it. If they are claiming that they are not part of it, we are calling on the security agencies to subject this signature to forensic scrutiny.
For the faction loyal to Mrs. Akindele, the allegations are baseless and the removal part of the story is unnecessary.
The Speaker was not even in the state as at the time it happened. And the money was in the Assembly. This is not the first time cash will be carried. So I think you get the story. There are a lot of things behind the scene. What is in the life of Assembly? What is 15 million in the project? We have the number of staff we have and the number of activities we are involved in.
Legislative activity is halted. A new government waiting in the wings. Governance in Ondo State for now may be tempered, as some people believe the crisis is highly political. But the police says it has begun investigation and the complex will remain shut until the tension is totally doused.
Let's join Gloria Mezoke now, who's in Abuja, who has more on the news at 10. Hi, Gloria.
Thank you, Amarachi. The General Overseer of Omega Fire Ministries, Apostle Johnson Suleiman, who is alleged to have made some inciting statements capable of causing disaffection among Nigerians, has finally honored the invitation extended to him by the Department of State Services in Abuja. Apostle Suleiman, who was initially billed to visit the headquarters of the service by 10 a.m., did not arrive at the office of the DSS until 8:25 p.m. In an interview earlier in the day, Apostle Suleiman, who is being accused of engaging in hate speeches, says he stands by his initial statement calling on all Nigerians to defend themselves against herdsmen attacks.
Every right-thinking person who is not sentimental and not partisan and not political know that what I said was within the premise of a private property. And I was talking on my personal capacity of an information from a reliable source that certain people in the capacity of herdsmen were coming to attack me. And I told the people around, if this happens, defend yourself. And I'll still repeat it, that Nigerians, Christians, and all are sundry, no one would be excited or willingly offer his neck to be used for a sacrifice or a ritual. It is only natural for you to defend yourself, and that's what I stand on. I'm not involved in religious uprising or religious uproar. What I stand for, which also the Constitution of Nigeria upholds, is self-defense.
The House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Oil Prospecting Licenses and Oil Mining Leases has given the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Department of Petroleum Resources 1 week to produce records of application fees, signature bonuses and other fees paid by oil companies. This decision followed a meeting of the committee and representatives of the different agencies who were invited to give details of the transactions. The committee also heard from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation on its role in such transactions involving oil companies. Our correspondent, Lanre Lasisi, has this report.
It's the resumed hearing by the Ad Hoc Committee of the House of Representatives probing oil prospecting licenses and oil mining leases granted by the federal government. These officials before the committee are representatives of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Department of Petroleum Resources, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, and oil companies. The committee says it has not received records of accounts where the fees for the oil prospecting licenses and the oil mining leases are lodged.
We wrote DPR, give us this information. We want to trace if these monies have gotten into your account or not. And then DPR also informed us that they wrote to CBN 2 or 3 different letters and copied us letter because we started harassing them that you people are refusing to give us the information. They said the information is not with them, it's with CBN.
The representative of the central bank sought to put things in perspective.
When the letters were written to CBN asking us to provide details of payments in respect of license fees, royalties, rents, in respect of OMS and OPLs, we were surprised. How would we even know these details of payments? But we deliberately responded that no, we were not NNPC, we were not DPR. We wouldn't know what payments came into the account. Go to them, get the details. But when you now ask for evidence of payments, which is bank statements, and we said that is the right thing to ask for.
He then explains what is being done to provide the needed records.
Immediately we got the request, we contacted JP Morgan. And we were told that they have an internal retention policy of 7 years. We're in 2017, and they said that after 7 years, they destroy the records. What we have done is to resort to our internal records, and we have sent people to our archives to try and dig out these statements, which JP Morgan cannot provide for now.
The committee has given all the agencies 1 week to submit relevant documents to the committee. The chairman of the committee said they are determined to resolve what has become a lingering problem in the sector. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
But meanwhile, Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria are calling on the federal government to pay all indebtedness to allow them resume importation of petroleum products. The executive secretary of the body, Obafemi Olawore, who was on our breakfast program, Sunrise Daily, says the independent marketers are unable to face the challenges of fuel importation because of the current exchange rates.
Well, what we're saying is that ultimately, full deregulation, and note the adjective very well, full deregulation. It's not deregulation today and tomorrow. You will now have some circulars that will tell you to do something else. If you fully deregulate and then you have the effects, then you can talk of all this. But remember that even before you go ahead, I will repeat, government is owing us and government must pay us. And not paying us means we are not able to pay banks, and banks are not supporting us again. As at this moment, we are owing more than $1 billion. We are owed. And that translates to the fact that we are handicapped. We can't do any investment. We can't do anything on our own. We always go begging for money to be paid.
A 30-year-old publisher of Biafra Times newspaper, Mr. Pt.2, has been arrested by the police in Lagos. According to the police, the suspect, who was arrested on Sunday with 9 of his workers, has been held for alleged treason, amongst other charges. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Fatai Owosheni, explains that the suspect has contravened the law. The key suspect has now been charged to court with 9 of his workers.